Welcome to the Two Grumpy Bastards podcast, where feelings aren't felt and snowflakes melt. Buckle up, it's gonna be a bumpy ride.
These confines with a monarch's voice cry havoc! Let slip the dogs of war. To my city steps. You insult my queen. You threaten my people with slavery and death. Oh, I've chosen my words carefully, Persian. Perhaps you should have done the same. This is blasphemy. This is madness. Madness. This is Sparta!
They painted over ants.
Well, folks, welcome to the Two Grumpy Bastards podcast. It's been a while since we put some content out.
Hopefully this goes out.
I don't even know what episode number this is, bro. I guess it doesn't really matter.
We can research that later.
I'll research that later when we put it up. Just to give you guys a little bit of context about stuff. Coop, as usual, and his amazing charmed life managed to insert itself. Can you hear me okay, by the way?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I got the microphone pushed back a little bit. Couldn't figure this out. I didn't have time to adjust or anything today. So Coop suffered some second and third degree burns a few weeks ago. What happened was it was an animal shelter, and I drove by and I saw the smoke, and I ran in and I saved 30 puppies and 120 kittens.
That was right before the Miss America pageant, right?
That's right before the Miss America pageant, right? And then that's when I also was visited by my friends from Zebulon 6. That's how realistic that first part of that story was. The true story, because it's kind of funny, but it's not, is that I was going to enjoy a nice steaming bowl of ramen. And I have this industrial microwave that was gifted to me by a dear friend, and it tends to overheat things, and I really wasn't thinking. Sat down in my recliner to watch a good flick, and that whole thing dumped on my lap. The terrible part of this, Russ, is that I have a hip that needs to be replaced.
Mm-hmm.
So getting out of the recliner and getting up and pulling my sweats down, I think I was wearing sweats. I'm sure I was, because it was evening time, was probably in the neighborhood of 30 to 35 seconds. So I had that. God. And then, of course, me being the dumb fuck that I am, I got first responder skills and all that stuff. Yeah. So I didn't put ice on it right away. I didn't do a whole lot of things right away. I just, I eventually got like a cold washcloth, put it on there, and then you guys saw the photos. You saw the charred flesh. Fortunately, most of it did not hit my essentials, I should say. Got a little bit there, but of course, how essential are they? They haven't been essential in a while. So that's where I've been. I literally have been until today. I haven't left the house in, gosh, I guess 2 weeks. And I had the energy to finally clean up the place a little bit yesterday, and that was exhausting. And got out today for the first time, sunny day, to get some essentials. And that's been probably the last 3 weeks or so. I think it's been since that happened. You should have seen this place. I did not have the energy to clean or do anything else or clean up. And I got an elderly dog that doesn't always,
I'm sure that made it great.
Yeah, so I managed to get most of it clean, although the bathroom does look like a gas station restroom in southern Idaho. It doesn't look that bad, but it was bad. I got most of it clean this morning, but yeah, I have not been able, and I'm not really able to do anything. I got out today and got home, and of course I looked down and bandages are all bleeding again and all that, just because I dared go out and get dog food and pick up my mail. But
it's been two things. First, our audience needs to try to urge Coop the way I have to go back to the doctor.
I am.
Look at some more.
I am.
But here's the real question. Here's something I know everybody in the audience wants to know.
Yeah.
What flavor ramen?
I tend to rotate. I think it was chicken.
I like chicken.
Yeah, I like the chicken. I like the mariscos. I like.
Actually, I think the pork flavor is probably my favorite, although the shrimp flavor, close.
um yeah, no, I try not to eat a lot of ramen because it's just like not good for you. Um
So
but
my
I've
my
been
girls my girls like going to the Korean hot pots where you can get the ramen and all the. Basically, it's almost like a Mongolian grill
yeah.
except it's with ramen.
Yeah, I mean the difference between going to an authentic ramen place and eating the crap that will kill you, the cardboard crap that will kill you, is light years. It's not even
Yeah,
comparable. It's not even the same stuff. So I enjoy ramen when I'm at a good Asian restaurant, but oh my God. So neighbors' boys were making fun of me when they finally saw me emerge from my cave, going, "Are you afraid of ramen, Uncle Coop? Are you afraid of ramen now?"
but
And
like
I'm
if I
like,
can run you little
"Yes,
bastards, I'd kill you.
yes, I am afraid of ramen." Um, Although you can get an acceptable bowl of home ramen by just getting the tap water really hot, running it in there, letting it soak for about 5 minutes, pouring the water out, and then doing it again and pouring the water out, and it's perfectly acceptable. So
Okay,
this will, so that's probably what I'll be doing. Oh, and that industrial microwave of mine,
gone.
it blew up.
Really?
It
Oh God.
it blew up. Yeah, like day before yesterday, it blew up. I put a cup of tea or something in there. I can't remember what it was, or a cup of soup, because I've been on a soup and liquid diet because I have absolutely no appetite. And good news is I've lost almost 20 pounds.
Not eating will do that.
Not eating will do that. It also makes your arms really skinny and all that too. But yeah, so yeah, I heard it was going like a chainsaw, and I could smell like burning plastic.
That's not good.
So I guess I don't know if that was it, like if that was if that was committing seppuku because it would felt bad, but
Maybe it was just trying to kamikaze itself to you again.
could be. So yeah, so I ordered a new microwave, and I ordered one of those fancy ones that's also a convection oven and a air fryer and all that kind of thing,
You
all
know
in one.
you can get a pretty functional microwave at Walmart for like $60, right?
Yeah, but I can't really go to Walmart.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I ordered one off of Amazon, and I was like kind of excited today. It was going to get here today, and it's cool because I'm basically on soup, and I'm a soup guy. And yeah, I get the notice we delivery attempt. I'm like, I'm right here.
Yeah.
How do you miss me? So I still don't have a microwave, so that's all right. I got plenty of protein drinks and other things. Um,
Well, your life sounds like it's going swimmingly right now.
it's and it's been going swimmingly, really swimmingly for the last year or so. Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah.
All these different, yeah, and I usually heal like Wolverine, but not to get too personal with my medical history, but I'm on immunosuppressants right now, which I didn't factor into it. So I think not
Well,
helping that's not helping
that's
the
having
healing.
an impact for sure.
It's having a huge impact because I figured a couple weeks I'll be fine. Oh hell no. I've had marginal improvement. I mean, I have, but boy, have I watched the shit out of everything that's on. What do
So
you
you should
want to
be
know?
very well versed in everything right now.
Oh, Netflix, Amazon Prime, HBO Max, Apple TV, Hulu. I don't think there's a show I haven't watched that's worth a shit. When it gets late at night because I have insomnia, mostly because I'm in a little bit of pain, but natural.
I,
Uh,
I got a show for you. It's something to binge watch.
Go ahead.
Try not to laugh at me too much when you hear where it came from because it's not what it sounds like. All right. It was originally on the Hallmark Channel.
Okay.
Made its way to Netflix, but it's not like a normal kind of Hallmark sappy type of show. It's called The Way Home, and it's a time travel kind of a thing.
I know I've heard of it. I know I've heard of it.
Just watch it. There's this lake that acts as a portal to certain points in the past, and it brings up, questions of causality loops. And now there's some hallmarky stuff in there because it centers around a mom and her daughter and her granddaughter. And the men are only kind of peripheral in there, but it's actually really good. The last season's coming on here in a couple months. So if you since you're homebound and binge watching shit, look for The Way Home on Netflix. Binge watch it. Won't take you too long. It's got 3 seasons. I
Right.
think you'll enjoy it.
When it gets late at night, I'll watch like series and stuff like that. I'm almost all the way through Justified right now, which is fantastic. The writing and the humor in that show is great, um, and the acting. And I'm a big Timothy Oliphant fan anyway. But that's a great show for you guys out there. If you want to like a neo-Western, uh,
I'll see what I can find out. Yeah.
yeah,
But
it's
seriously,
great.
go watch let's see, the only actor slash actress you might recognize was Andy McDowell. She was in Groundhog Day.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know who she is.
Just seriously, put on the first couple episodes, either tonight or tomorrow night and see if it hooks you. It hooked me and hooked Sherry and I, and we watched the whole series in like, a couple weeks.
Well, you know me, I love those time travel sci-fi um shows. I unfortunately watched the sci-fi show Away with Hilary Swank, the series
Yeah.
where she goes to Mars. She's the captain of the ship,
Yeah.
and
I've seen it on Netflix, but I haven't watched it.
I will tell you, I wouldn't recommend it because it I get what it's trying to do. It doesn't focus on the sci-fi so much as like the effects on the families and the relationships and
Uh-huh.
all of that. It's more of a but oh my God, they have 20-minute conversations about fucking nothing. Same
Oh,
conversation they've had. Well, that whole how do you feel and blah, 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 blah. And the
well,
conflict she has with the crew because the Russian guy doesn't like her. And I mean, it's just kind of it's formula. It's formula.
well, in The Way Home, it'll be interesting to see how you react to the contrast between the two men that the main character interacts with. One she interacts with in the present, and one she interacts with in 1814, I think. Because they're obviously two completely different types of men between the two eras. So it'd be interesting to
I
get
can well
your
imagine. I can well imagine.
yeah. So it'd be interesting to get your take on the difference between those, what she thinks of those two men.
Can you imagine trying to hand a plate of avocado toast off to somebody from the 19th century?
Yeah, that's actually that's not exact, but it's kind of similar in terms of the degree of, the rugged manliness versus the guy's more intellectual in the present, but he would neither one would survive well in the other's time period.
Yeah, no, that's true. I feel like I would survive pretty well in the 19th century with my skills growing up. I feel like I'd be fine. But
Well,
yeah,
I probably would have been a few years back, being, an Army Ranger and infantry and all that other stuff. But to be honest, I've kind of gotten used to having constant heat and food when I want it and that kind of stuff. So,
you
you know,
know,
I
no,
have to relearn.
I 100%. And one of the things that I have to admit, and I've talked about this too, with all of the stuff that's happened to me in my life, the 100 plus broken bones, the severe injuries, growing up on a farm, putting a forklift through my foot and stuff like that. I'd have been dead a million times without antibiotics and modern medical treatment.
Oh yeah. I
I would
mean,
have
yeah,
died at the age of 9.
a lot of people don't, people who are like, well, it was all natural back then. Yeah, if you got a bad cut on your arm, you could die.
You could die.
Women live to the ripe old age of died in childbirth.
What was I watching recently? And it was so unrealistic where a guy gets a gunshot in the gut and it was a Western. He gets a
That's
gunshot
a that's a fatal wound in the past.
and they put the pliers in there and pull the bullet out and stuff like that and splash whiskey on it and then lay the guy by the fire and like a week later he's like up and shooting people again. No, 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 no,
No,
no.
no, no, no. Because if the loss of blood doesn't kill you, the infection will.
Yeah, and if you get any wound to the abdomen with all the
Mhm.
bacteria that's in the gut, you are dead. You're dead.
Yep.
You're dead. I mean, the chances of survival are next to nothing. And even today, a gut shock. That's what is the series that I've been watching? Um, oh shit. Oh God. Where like the same um damn it. It's a post-apocalyptic kind of a thing. I've been watching because I've just like fuck, I don't know what to watch. So I've been rewatching Falling Skies,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
which I
I
really
know that
which
one.
I really like. I really like that series.
I haven't finished the series because it It started back around, I want to say 2010 or so, but the problem was that it was one of the first ones to do this whole like a full year between seasons.
Did it?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. I
And
was
back then
never.
people weren't into that, and it kind of killed the momentum of the show.
Oh, gotcha. I was never a Noah Wiley fan, but I don't mind him in this one. But
Yeah.
yeah, and then Moon Bloodgood, you can't like say anything
Yeah.
bad about that. But I don't like any of his sons though. All of his sons annoy the fucking piss out of me. So it's
Hmm.
like you got to take the good. But the gal Sarah Carter, the hot blonde that the oldest boy is in love
Hmm.
with, she was also on Supernatural and Smallville and a whole bunch
Yeah.
of other stuff. She gets like shot like every other show, and it's in a medical emergency every other show, and it's just like I like, come on, really? And and then what's his name? Tom Patton, the guy that plays the
Will
captain.
Patton, yeah.
Will Patton, thank you. He's like, can't move the bus until we get everybody evacuated. Medical bus stays here. Fighters on me. And it's just like when you stream a show like that, it's just like, okay, this is the same dialogue from 2 shows ago. Exactly the same dialogue.
Yeah, well, it reminds me of The Walking Dead, the post-apocalyptic show that for some reason everybody wants to be a part of because they all think they're going to be the ones to survive the apocalypse.
Right.
And people are getting shot with crossbows. Everybody's a great shot. Everybody can hit headshots from 100 yards away.
Yeah, try that.
Yeah, and it's just I'm sitting here and I watch you've heard me talk, gripe about this. I've watched the tactics in some of the battles, and I'm like, put me in that world, I'll rule it with an iron fist.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
none
Oh
of these
yeah.
civilians know anything about how to actually fight.
The it's kind of
I
funny
don't
too.
mean fisticuffs, I mean tactics. How you position forces, how you flank, how you
Right.
cut off an enemy, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, no, there's no tactics. It's like Ad Horatio, Admiral, what was his name? The British.
Rachel Nelson.
Yeah, thank you. I was gonna say Horatio Hornblower, but it's like go straight at him. That was his tactic.
Yeah, army here, go.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I got a couple things I wanted to talk about quickly. It's going to be an abbreviated show, folks, because Russ is on a time. Got a heart out, and I probably will pass out. So, hey, that was kind of cool how that worked out right there.
You're a poet and don't know it.
Um, the just watching my coonhound there. There's a huge electric blanket on the floor now that encompasses both dogs. They like that when it's yeah.
Nice.
That's how they got through the winter. It's the best thing I ever bought in my life. It makes Huckleberry lay down for like 14 hours at a time without bugging me. Um, yeah, let's talk a little bit about Kristi Noem, who got fired from her post
She's
at
moving on to a better position. That's what
yeah,
we're being told.
uh-huh. That's like in the army when you and I had buddies that are not buddies, but fellow officers who got reassigned.
There were these special projects officers.
Special projects. I know. God, that was brutal. My first venture in the army in the first cav in the battalion, there was a lot of lieutenants who ended up special projects over one thing or another.
Yep.
Yeah, and a lot of them never recovered. And yeah, I had a quick war story. I had a buddy who got accused of soliciting prostitution.
Oh God.
He didn't. He did not. It was a complete misunderstanding. Some undercover cop came up to him at a 7-Eleven and says, hey, la la la. And he goes, oh, hey, babe, how much? Because he was one of those guys joking around,
Yeah.
completely just making, and then whoop, he's in handcuffs in jail. And he was found not guilty. Charges were dismissed. It was a misunderstanding. But yeah, he's a good officer, very good officer. He actually went special forces eventually. But he he spent some time in the battalion HQ in the 3 shop as special projects until
Mhm.
things were cleared up. Yep. Remove him from the line. I saw a lot of that. We had a guy who was a company XO, first lieutenant, who just disappeared, and everybody goes, "What happened to that guy?" Well, it turns out that he had one of his soldiers lend him money,
Oh,
and he was gone. I mean, he was gone.
yeah,
I don't know where he
bad.
went. I don't know where he went. Um, how?
The
But
comp-
next day, nobody heard. Nobody's like, "Where's Lieutenant so and so?" Ah,
yeah,
yeah,
the company I was an XO in at Fort Irwin, um, we were having some problems in the motor pool, and me and one of the platoon leaders had this big blow up, and instead of walking off and calming down, when the company commander got involved, this guy turned and screamed at the company commander, and he was at the Fort Irwin Protocol office the next day.
God. I did a lot of shit, but never like in uniform during the day. I saved
Yeah.
my chicanery for Sixth Street in Austin or whatever else. But yeah, I mean, I did challenge a bird colonel to a fist fight at a at a at a at a meeting at a battalion. We used to call them trims. What do we call them now? Uh,
Yeah, training resource meetings. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because he said he called me a motherfucker in front of everybody when I was a major. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Nick, sir, you want to take these off and go out in the fucking parking lot because you're talking to the man right now, not the officer. Don't ever fucking talk to me like that again. And the room just got really quiet because everybody knew I was serious. Let's go,
Yeah.
let's go, let's take this shit off and go. Actually, it would have been easier when we got the ACUs. You could just go,
Velcro, just
yeah,
take it off.
Velcro the rank off and throw it. No, I mean you don't talk like that. I never,
No.
ever, ever. I think I said that one time to a person ever, and he had it coming, and it wasn't a subordinate. It was a guy at the same rank. And I'm like, listen, motherfucker, and actually I think I was same rank, and because he was a piece of shit, I won't explain the whole thing, but yeah, I
Yeah.
said that one time, but it was a guy of the same. I can't
Yeah.
imagine talking to. So I said a lot of things to subordinates, but it was always if I called you a name, normally it was in jest or it was a nickname or how
Hmm.
we used to call people like fucko and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
it was like it was a term of endearment.
It's
So
different when you're familiar with people and it's done in different ways,
absolutely.
as opposed to just outright hostility.
Anyway, let's get back to Kristi Noem.
Yeah.
Let's get
The
back to
one
her.
that for
So
some reason our buddy in the Endless Ranters thinks is ugly.
he does. And I don't know if you saw the post that he just made on Endless Ranters. I don't know if he tagged you. He tagged
I saw the
me.
poll.
Yeah, the poll. Yeah, so I added another poll and I go, Christopher just came out of the closet. That was the
I haven't seen that yet. I'll have to take a look at that.
see how many people I'll have to update when you're talking. I'll take a look when you're talking. But overall, not a surprise. Um,
No,
not
she's been in trouble for a while.
she's been in trouble for a while, and my big picture of this is I'm not surprised. And we'll talk about her replacement here in just a sec, but um, she's made some major missteps. There's many we could list, and I'll let you kind of take this too. I think the biggest one was probably her stupid stepping in front of the bus and saying when those two people were killed in Minneapolis that they were domestic terrorists. That was dumb. And what I appreciate about this, and is it upsetting? And oh, Trump made the wrong choice and stuff like that. Yeah, I guess he did in hindsight, but he's making the right choice now in removing her. Joe Biden didn't remove any of his pieces of shit in his cabinet during his entire 4 years. He didn't
Yeah,
fire
Alejandro
anybody or replace
Mayorkas comes to
anybody.
mind.
And we know Trump doesn't have a problem replacing people. We know that. I
Yeah.
mean, he's a that's a difference between a businessman and a career politician. Um, I'll let you talk about a couple other things, but also this what's his name? Lewandowski.
Oh,
Um,
Corey Lewandowski. Yeah.
Corey Lewandowski. I had to do some research while I was sitting in my chair comfortably earlier on my gabapentin and other types of relief from my burn. Um, the I looked up his history. This guy's a fucking douchebag. I mean,
Yeah. And it's
I am surprised. I'm surprised because he got fired as campaign manager. He got fired as, I mean, he obviously, I don't know why Trump allowed him to become, what is he, deputy secretary or what, chief of staff. I'm sorry. I think it was chief of staff, DHS chief of staff, something like that.
DHS chief of staff, not White House. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a rumor, of course, and it's where there's smoke, there's fire, that there's been an affair between Noam and
It's
him.
it's been a fairly known open secret, allegedly,
And
that
they're
they've
both
been
married.
bopping like bunnies.
They're both married, by the way, which escalates it to me that much worse. And I
Hear about
looked
the
in,
blanket incident?
what's that?
You about the blanket incident?
The blanket incident? No.
This is something that a petty
Oh
GO
yeah, 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 yeah. When he yelled at the Coast Guard.
he fired a Coast Guard pilot because the guy forgot Noam's blanket.
Yeah, That does not sound like a Republican to me. That sounds like a Democrat. I'm
It
sorry.
sounds like a douchebag. It sounds like you said he's a douche.
Yeah, and I never saw a photo of him, and I gotta tell you, that is a punchable fucking face right there, bro. That is a face only like a soy boy wouldn't punch. I mean, that is not a man. Let me just let me just tell you. Um, let's see. Politically aligned, of course, he is a hard MAGA guy. He's been politically aligned with Donald Trump. He served as the first campaign manager for Trump's 2016 presidential campaign. Despite being dismissed during the Republican primary, he was a commentator. He was also dismissed from the latest campaign. Um, was going to run in January. He was going to run in the 2020 election for New Hampshire, but decided not to because he had allegedly made sexual advances towards the wife of a major Trump donor. Um, why is this guy even okay? I got to question this. He needs to go too.
Yeah, he does.
And I know the next guy coming in, there's a couple other reasons if you want to hit those that I think were major snafus in her downfall. But I know the guy coming in is not going to put up with that. I know that for a
No.
fact.
And Mark Wayne Mullen, I don't know too much about him. I do know that cynically, one of the reasons he was appointed was because as senator, he's a senator from Oklahoma.
Right,
The Republicans are not going to lose a Senate seat in Oklahoma. There's
right,
going to be a Republican appointed to the seat. Whenever they have the next election,
right.
that person will win.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, Noam I thought was a little bit out of her depth. She
I
might
did
have done
too.
okay at the Department of Interior as like Secretary of the Interior.
Yeah,
She's from South Dakota, she knows, but at DHS, she was a bit of a bull in a china shop. I think she was trying to go out of her way to show she could be tough, and she didn't know the difference between tough and reckless. She was,
good point. Good point.
yeah, she was always, I want to show, and look there, I don't have, uh, I would not excoriate ICE for the shootings of Preddy and Good. That said, the way that it's presented is, hey, this was a tragedy. We need to make
Right,
sure that people aren't trying to, block law enforcement. Our hearts do go out to the families, but we still have a job to. That's the way to present it. Not they were domestic terrorists.
yeah,
That's a bit much, even in the political sphere
sure,
with
sure.
conservatism. Uh, I don't know if you saw she actually went along on some of the ICE raids early on in her tenure.
I did. I thought I didn't say anything to you guys at the time. I thought it was ridiculous when she was all trussed up with the ice and the body
It was
armor and
grandstanding.
yeah,
I
yeah, it
mean,
was performative. It was performative.
look, I get, the whole being on the front lines thing. At the same time, you and I have been taught that as a leader, you go where you can best control the overall situation.
Right,
She wasn't the tactical ground commander. She has subordinates who do that stuff for a reason because they're trained experts and they're professionals who've been doing this for decades.
right.
She she was a politician. She wanted to get her face in front of the camera.
Yep.
She's done in Republican politics, I will say that. I mean, she was done the moment that she bragged about shooting dogs.
And I
Um,
think I don't know if you agree with this, but I think part of the reason she over I'm going to sound sexist, but you know that I've served with a lot of very competent female army officers, and I served with more than you did because of my branch. Um, but very confident. But there was those NCOs and there was those female army officers that tried too hard. They tried to be
yeah.
dudes. I pulled one of my lieutenants aside when I was a major, and I said, "You're trying way too hard." I said, "You're very good. You're very sharp, but you're trying to be one of the guys and bust
You need to
balls.
dial it back a notch.
Just go out there and be yourself, and they'll respect you. It's okay that you're a female. They're always gonna know you're never gonna get over that crest that you're a female. You're never gonna do that. And but what you can do is show that you're competent, and that's all that people are gonna matter, and they'll be loyal to you if you're competent and you treat your
Well,
soldiers well.
it's
You know,
it is it's the female equivalent of a guy with small dick syndrome.
a little
Trying
bit.
to
I hate to
show,
use the antiquated term penis envy, but it
yeah,
there's a little bit of, and that's not quite correct, but we used to use that term, antiquated term. But you're right. You're right.
yeah, trying to show, hey, I can be big and bad and one of the boys too. Well, you don't have to be. I mean, shoot, look at the guy that she was allegedly doing. He's definitely not one of the boys. It's just accept your role, know where you are now. She's done in Republican politics. Like I said, she was probably done when it came out that she was shooting dogs, and bragging about it. It's just because the American people were not going to. They love the American public loves its dogs. It
Yeah.
was not going to put up with that
Hey,
stuff.
I grew up on a farm. I won't tell stories about some of the horrors that I had to do that broke my heart, but
Well, but
I'm not going to put it.
you present it in a heartbreaking way. She was talking about how awesome she thought it was. I still thought it was another I want to show you how big a dick I am kind of move.
Yeah,
Um,
it was weird. It was weird, and I would have left that part out of my autobiography.
yeah, and some of the TV spots of her riding on her horse. Why do you do that? That's your DHS. That's not what DH. Well, let me back up a second. I have had an ideological problem with us having a DHS to begin with.
Hmm.
I think it's an offshoot of the Department of Defense, um, and a lot of the ICE functions could be put up under the Department of Justice and subordinated under the FBI or something. I was not a big fan of creating a brand new bureaucracy after
Hmm.
the 9/11 terrorist attacks. That's why we have a Department of Defense.
Right.
But all that said, Noam she didn't have the nuance or the presence for the job. Now, Tom Homan is the adult in the room. Tom
Right.
Homan, head of ICE, that's the guy that should have been the poster child for these efforts all along, because he does understand, calm presence. He understands how to explain things that are nuanced and detailed, and is not the bull in the china shop that Noam was. Um, Now, obviously, this is not going to stop the Democrats from cheering about the scalp that they got. But did you really get a scalp? Because there's going to be another Republican in there. If Democrats really wanted to ingratiate themselves to the American public, what they would do now is they would declare that they got rid of Kristi Noem. They've gotten private concessions from Markwayne Mullin, and they're going to lift the hold on DHS funding. Get a couple of symbolic victories. That's what they should do, but they're not going to do that.
Right.
It's just not in their nature. And because politics is always, politics of extreme, and they're enthralled to their base right now, and their base doesn't want anything like that, despite the fact that, the only reason that the Democratic base is because they yell the loudest. They're not the largest number of voters. They just yell the loudest, and nobody is willing to stand up to them. But yeah, Noam is a little bit overhead. I would not be surprised, and I know this is going to make me sound like I'm always going after the women, which is not the case, but I wouldn't be surprised if Pam Bondi is not too far behind, like the next 6 months or so, because she has not handled some stuff with the DOJ very well, especially like with the Epstein release and whatnot.
Right.
Um, so
Haven't heard a
well,
peep out of her in a while.
I think Trump has been like, "Hey, you need to cool your heels in the background."
Right.
Her release of the Epstein files was definitely clumsy at best.
Right.
Some of the stuff that she has tried to come down on, while I understand it, uh, you got to pick your fights, especially at that level. There's at a certain level you have to pick your battles, and I don't think she understands that concept. Uh, Noam definitely didn't. That you can if the Democrats are the bull in the arena, you can take them on without having to run straight at them. You can use the matador technique of get them to run at you, use the cape to get them off.
Yep.
But um, we'll see what happens. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of people crowing about it,
Hmm.
but I don't know enough about Markwayne Mullin to say if he'd be good or bad as DHS secretary.
I don't know either. I did do some research on him. Um, and I was a little bit surprised. I guess based on he's very far right, by the way. He's
Yeah.
his views on abortion is never, which I find a little bit discomforting, not even in the case of incest and rape and all that kind of thing. Um, I tend to go a little bit more to the left than that in my views on abortion. Um, but he oh, and I the one thing that I did want to mention too is I was kind of off put by her $220 million ad campaign about self-deporting because
Yeah.
it looked draconian because you had like troops and guards and stuff like that. And it's like maybe she could have sat down on a park bench somewhere and said, "We have a program now in the United
Yeah.
States."
But that goes back to her bull in a china shop thing.
Exactly, exactly. That just supports your deal. Mark Wayne Mullen. For anybody, I did not have a chance to pull a video up, but there's a famous video where he challenges the the what's what the union what was the union Teamsters union president to a fight on the Senate floor. Um, because the Teamster he read like all these emails and stuff that the Teamster was talking shit about. Oh, quit acting like a tough guy and come out and face me. And so Mark Wayne Mullen reads the stuff, and this union president is sitting there all pissed off, and he's reading, and he goes, "Well, do you want to do it right here, right now?" And the union president's like, "Sure." And he goes, "Well, stand up." And he goes, "Well, you stand up." So Mark Wayne Mullen does stand up, starts to take his wedding ring off because he's gonna beat this guy's ass. And prior to that, pull this up on YouTube, folks. It's great. Prior to that, he's like, I wish you were there when I started my plumbing company and I was riding around for 12, 14 hours a day checking on all my job sites, and I built a construction company worth over $65 million from scratch. But you can sit here and tell me that I don't know what it's like to be a working man. And then he gets into the emails. So his background is actually construction management, believe it or not. He
Nice.
owned he
No,
owns
that's
a
not
whole
a
bunch of
lawyer.
no, he's not a lawyer, and I did not know this about him. He doesn't even have a bachelor's degree.
No, I know. There were some lefties online that were whining about that, and so I went in there and responded to some of them. I'm like, gee, it's almost like that's not one of the job requirements.
Yeah, yeah, and it's not like and it's almost like going to university and getting degrees now makes you somehow better at your job or guarantees that you're going to be smarter than the normal person. I don't know. I can name a bunch of people that I think Matt Walsh, Charlie Kirk. I mean, those are two off the top of my head that don't never even went to college. That are some of the smartest, sharpest minds that we've had.
Yeah.
So
Well, the only thing I've seen of Mark Wayne Mullen recently, and the only reason I even knew the name was because it was just a week or two ago that before the State of the Union, he was fanboying over him and his wife were fanboying over Jack Hughes and the Olympic hockey team. They get they get that on video that his wife was so excited about posing, and Hughes put the gold medal around his neck, and that was the only thing I remember of him. I've seen of him recently.
yeah, no, I know him. I've seen him because I'll watch like the Forbes, 5, 10 minute deals because I love watching Josh Hawley tear people apart. I love our buddy Brandon Gill tear
Oh
people
yeah.
apart. I do subscribe to his, not subscribe, but I do follow him.
There's going to be another Brandon probably in Congress come November. From the Unsubscribed podcast, Brandon Herrera is
Oh,
almost sure to win the runoff in Texas. He actually beat Tony Gonzalez, uh, but he didn't get 50%. So they have to go to a runoff in Texas, and Gonzalez is being dogged by the scandal of the affair that he initially denied and now he admitted to a woman that committed suicide by setting herself on fire.
Jesus. What?
Yeah, you didn't know about that?
I did not.
Yeah, he was having an affair with this girl. He's trying to coax naked pics out of her. She's like I don't know about this. And he's like, you know how visual I am. He's married, obviously.
Oh
He
my God. What is
she
wrong with these douchebags, man?
yeah she committed suicide by setting herself on fire, and I think it's today that Speaker Johnson told Gonzalez, "Hey, dude, you need to drop your reelection bid. You're not going to win. We're not going to support you." And Brandon Herrera from the Unsubscribed podcast. He's probably going to win that congressional seat. It's going to be interesting to see what he's like as a Congress critter. I don't know how much you follow the Unsubscribed podcast and listen to him at all.
I don't. I don't. I know what you're talking about, but I don't.
Yeah,
I just
but he's on there with Eli and the Fat Electrician and Donut. They're a pretty good crew. He's usually pretty level-headed, very very big on Second Amendment. They call him the AK guy because of now he's like the only guy on there that has no military service, which is kind of funny. But he's got the big beard and the long flowing hair. And all
does
he's
he
got to do is
say
when
does he say brother a lot?
I don't think so. but he's got a very smooth voice. But the district is so Republican that whoever wins that runoff is going to win the seat in November. It's like 65% Republican.
I'll have to Google that later when I'm watching something I don't care about and it's 3 in the morning and I can't sleep. So
Yeah, do that.
I will do that. Yeah. So I don't know. Is this a better replacement? Again, I think this is really about loyalty to Trump, and he's kind of shifted. You can't blame him after his first term. In the He's shifted to people that are very MAGA and that are very loyal to him to pretty
Well,
much in
he
every
made an
position.
adjustment like a businessman would do. All right, so two things. He went into his first term trusting kind of the establishment to tell him who were the players they needed to appoint. It
Right.
rose up and bit him in the ass.
Yeah.
But what this term and other stuff shows is the tactical mistake the Democrats made in not just kind of letting Trump get reelected in 2020. Because if he'd been reelected in 2020, his second term would have probably been fairly anemic. He'd have still been clinging
Yeah.
on to some of it. But he came in with
100%.
energy in this term. He's making decisions he would not have made had he been reelected back to back. And so it completely backfired on the Democrats. It's been one of the most, whether you like him or hate him, it's been one of the most consequential first years of a presidential term that I think I've ever seen. It compares with Reagan's first term, his first year. Um, Beyond that, maybe it compares to FDR's first year in terms of consequence. Again, good or bad, you can like the policies or not like the policies, but you can't deny that he's made an impact.
100%. And I don't know, let's shift gears to let's talk briefly about I don't know if you heard this or not, but there's something going on in the Middle East.
I did read something about that. I should probably catch up a little bit.
I need to catch up on that too. The one thing I heard today that I think is freaking hilarious. It's not
Hmm.
hilarious. Let me take that back. But it is on a existential way is that in response to the strikes by Israel and the United States on Iran, they have bombed or missiled 16 Islamic countries
Yeah.
in response. Their own freaking people, supposedly. I just saw right before we got on that there was two missiles that hit in Riyadh.
Well, it's interesting.
Don't piss off the Saudis, you idiot.
Did you happen to see Jon Stewart's take on this?
I'm not a Jon Stewart fan. I
Yeah,
don't.
I'm not normally a Jon Stewart fan either, but he did have a hilarious take on it. I want to say it was yesterday or the day before.
He's a smart guy. He's a smart guy. I'm just not a fan.
Well, he's I think he's just good at making funny faces into the camera. But he did have a good take on it when he's like, because obviously he's opposed to what's going on in Iran, but he did have a good take when he said, "Look, I don't know why they're firing at everybody. It's like if I get into a bar fight with two guys, and I just turn around and start randomly slapping six other bar customers, and then not expect them to beat my ass too." It's that was funny.
That's a pretty good analogy, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, but look, for those who don't really understand, we've been at war with Iran for like 47 years.
Right.
Ever since
Absolutely.
they took our people hostage. I knew some folks in Iraq who got killed by EFPs that were manufactured and transported and all but operated by Iran. Um, they were responsible through Hezbollah for killing over 200 Marines in Beirut. Um, their drones attacked some of our folks in Syria. They helped supply the Shia militias in Iraq. It's the government there is bad, and now a bad government's not enough to warrant an attack. But when a religious theocracy that wants to bring about the apocalypse is hell bent on getting nuclear weapons, that ups the stakes just a little bit. And when I hear people say, "Well, didn't we destroy it all in last June? Trump's lying about that." No, this is going to sound weird, I know, but people rebuild stuff. I mean, you should see what happened to Hiroshima. It's been rebuilt a lot.
Yeah.
Uh, and you know the uranium didn't go away. They make the centrifuges in country, and because we bombed the Fordo facility, um, they we didn't bomb their ballistic missile factories, and they've been producing like 80 to 100 ballistic missiles per month in Iran. If they were to marry up uh, if they were to be left alone enough to try to get, 5 or 6 nuclear weapons and they married them to a ballistic missile, that would be real, real bad. So the regime, I don't know if the regime's going to go completely. I think big ones are going to go. I thought it was tactically brilliant and it showed flexibility because they're expecting us to hit at nighttime. And when we struck them at 9 in the morning when they were getting ready for their meetings and wiped out 40 of their top leaders in broad daylight. And I have no idea when the original attack was planned for, but they had an intelligence tip about this meeting, so they accelerated their time schedule and just struck. And then, because these guys had never heard of Zoom, they decided to have a meeting to appoint a new leader, and we struck that meeting. Now, the rumor is that Mujtaba, uh,
Right.
Khomeini's son, is going to be the next Ayatollah, and Trump's already said that's a no-go. But taking out the clerics is one thing. The big thing that needs to be targeted beyond obviously the ballistic missiles and the nuclear capacity is there needs to be a mass bombing of the IRGC. That's the infrastructure that keeps the regime in place. And so the IRGC needs to be completely obliterated. And without that, now, one of the things this war has shown so far, my opinion, and you please feel free to disagree with me, is that for all the talk that Iran did about the US being a paper tiger, Iran is toothless. Iran's a paper tiger, right?
Hmm.
They're firing, they're like a spastic idiot who's just trying to slap everybody. They have no coherent strategy. They're lobbing everything they can in every direction, just trying to cause anything. They're not really causing us any damage. Us and the Israelis pretty much do whatever we want over the air in Iran. And the Iranians can fire a few missiles. They haven't actually shut down the Strait of Hormuz. There's a lot of traffic that's decided not to go through there because they're a little bit concerned, which obviously they have a right to be.
Absolutely.
Um, but the Iranian Navy isn't shutting it down. And if we fly enough patrols over the coast, we could probably find the missiles that they would be targeting into the Strait of Hormuz. You're probably looking at about 2 weeks worth of oil shock,
Right.
but we got to destroy the
I
ballistic
paid I
missiles. We
paid
got to destroy
$5. I paid $5 a gallon today in Washington State, by the way.
Okay, I paid 269. Um, but it was I paid 269 yesterday morning.
Yep.
Um, but that was a 20-cent jump from the weekend,
Yep.
and it's probably going to keep going up a little bit.
It happens every time there's anything like this anywhere in the world.
Yeah,
That's just part of the price you pay for.
yeah, but there's also beyond the Iranian strikes that show how toothless they are. Um,
Ugh.
the geopolitical impact of this on like China, who has lost two of their main oil suppliers in the last month and a half, Venezuela and now Iran. And you know, when we destroyed a lot of their ballistic missiles and a lot of their radars and stuff, where do you think the Iranians got that shit from? They got it from Russia and from China.
Right.
So if you've noticed, the Russian and Chinese responses have been pretty muted. For all their big belligerent talk before, they have not given jack shit to the Iranians, showing that the alliance doesn't mean anything because they don't want to get involved, and it has probably staved off an invasion of Taiwan. Because if you think Beijing is not paying attention to how assertive the United States has been, then you're blind. They've been, watching the United States actually decide to use its power has probably got Beijing shit in its pants.
Absolutely. Couple of my thoughts on this globally, big picture wise. If you don't agree that this was the right thing to do, as I heard recently one pundit say, we declawed the lion before, now we cut off its head. Um, and that's the whole point of this, and I agree. I am all for the Ender Wiggins strategy. I'm not only going to win this fight, but
Okay, it is.
I want to win all the other fights afterwards too.
Yep.
I'm all about the Ender Wiggins strategy. When it comes to things like this, we have slapped, pushed, threatened. I just love to think about the Biden administration's policy on Iran. No, no, or whatever they said. What do they say? Don't do it, or no, or whatever it was that he
Don't
said.
don't do it, man.
Don't do it. Really? A couple things. If you don't understand the importance of what is happening right now in Iran and this policy and what we're doing, if you don't even, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, if you don't agree to what we're doing and you're an American, you don't understand history or geopolitics at all, or economics or anything at all. You don't understand it. And you need to re-educate yourself. Like you said, we've been at war for 47 years. All these terrorist attacks from Beirut to the Stark to you name it, Iran funded. Iran's been behind it. They've been the mastermind behind it. They are currently, and I firmly believe this. Um, I mean, I guess a lot of people would say, well, China, sure, but Iran fundamentally is the most evil regime in the world right now, in my opinion. You might have some pockets here and there in Africa and some other places in the world.
North Korea could challenge him for that.
Yeah, I would say so too. North Korea is so, I think, contained to a certain
Yeah. North Korea is internally evil. Iran exports its evil.
exactly. And they've got so many tentacles. They're a Hydra. They got so many things out there that, everything from Hamas to the Houthis. Um,
Who
that
have been quiet, by the way. You haven't heard a peep out of the Houthis during this thing.
No, and it's kind of funny. Also, I haven't heard anything about this magical imaginary country called Palestine. Uh,
Well, did you see that the Palestinian Authority actually condemned the Iranians because they were firing missiles into Sunni Arab countries?
yes, I mean it's
How bad do you
just
have to be to get the PA to condemn you?
it's just insane. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Let's see, what would that be like? So we're attacked. Say we're attacked by Russia, okay, and then we start firing missiles into like Mexico and South America and Canada. I mean, it's just so insane to me, and it just shows you how insane this is. And people that don't think Sharia law and the Islamic way of life is the most evil thing in the world, there's so many things out there that you can compare it to, and I won't list them because we need to get off here pretty soon. But I'm a feminist. Oh, okay. And you're removing an evil regime, which is one of the most misogynist regimes in history, that don't mind stoning women to death and hanging
They
women for,
hang women who get they hang women who got raped.
yes. I mean, good job, feminists. You should be the first ones out there going, thank you, President Trump,
Yeah, and
for
when
these
they're
millions of
executing,
women that may not have to ever face that again.
yeah,
Things,
and
just every aspect of this.
when they're just real quick, when they're going to execute a woman, they
Mhm.
rape her before they execute her because in their minds, then she can't go to heaven.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? That's good folks. Those are good folks. And anybody that wants to argue with me, because I've studied this in depth in my life at the graduate level and every other level and casually, if you want to talk to me about how Islam's a good thing, let's have a conversation offline. You want to compare my chosen religion to the Islamic faith? Let's have a conversation sometime. Now, not all Islamic people or not all people that practice Islam are the same. Not all aspects of Islam are the same. It's like Christianity. There's a lot of different churches and slightly different views, and you have everything from Westboro Baptist scumbag fundamentalists to liberal Episcopalians, and everything in between. And then, of course, well, you got the Catholics, which is the real church, but I just said that. And me not being a Catholic by all that, but admiring the Catholicism. But if you don't think this is a good thing for the world, if you don't think this is a good thing for the Iranian people, you got it's just amazing to me. You've got people in the U.S. protesting the death of Ayatollah Khomeini, yet they want the death of their own commander in chief, their own president.
Well, they were celebrating. I mean, it'd be interesting how our buddy that, we both gone after on one of our mutual friends' page, I'm sure, he celebrated the death of Charlie Kirk, but he would protest the death of Ayatollah Khamenei. It just shows the moral depravity of some of these folks. I will say this, um, the fundamentalist Sharia Islam as practiced in Iran, as practiced in places like Syria,
God, my
is,
camera
in
sucks.
my mind, incompatible with Western culture. One of the biggest mistakes we tend to make is in the West is we think everybody thinks like us and everybody wants the same thing that we do, and they don't.
Not at
The,
all.
the Iranians, they have an honest to God end times outlook on the world, and they think that if they can lob some nukes into Israel, it'll bring about the return of the 13th Imam, which in their mind is like, would be like the second coming of Christ for
Right.
Christianity.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it would usher in the apocalypse and then paradise thereafter. They want to literally kill everybody to bring in their version of things going on. Now, again, that's not enough to start military action, but when you marry that with them actually trying to get nukes and then churning out 80 to 100 ballistic missiles per month, um, and then them scoffing at us, and look, in fairness, the reason that they scoffed at the talks over the last couple months is because we haven't done anything for 47 years. We've poked a couple of times. We've never bombed Iran itself. We've poked at their proxies, and they never expected a Western leader to actually do anything. And get remember these guys lost the war to Iraq, and even at the height of Iraq's military power, we took them out in 7 weeks.
Hmm.
So they're not that big of a power. The other thing to remember is it's really interesting how the dynamic of October 7th changed the ball game. Because when that happened, Israel took out Hamas and Hezbollah. Well, this war could be very different if those two entities were still uh, working and still functional. Because then Israel will be on two sides facing rockets and other attacks. Iran could activate that. They could have activated all kinds of other sleeper cells. And right since the Israelis took out those folks, Iran has basically been isolated. Like I said, the Russians and I mean, it's interesting. The Iranians gave Russians drones for Ukraine, and when Iran wants help of its own, Russia's like, I don't pick up the phone. I don't hear it. I'm completely ignoring you. And China is having to do something similar because
Right.
China, first of all, is seeing the performance of their military equipment in Iran and in Venezuela, and it's shit. It's absolute shit.
Oh, it's garbage. That was actually kind of my last point I was going to make on this topic was um the well, two. One real quick one. My favorite thing so far in this war, and I know you shouldn't have favorite things, but I do, um, is that we fucking sunk one of their warships with a submarine. That hasn't happened since World War II.
Yeah, and I had somebody try to tell me, well, there's other ships that have been sunk since World War II. I was like, not by Americans. That's the
No,
difference. It's kind of implied. This is the first time we've sunk an enemy warship with a sub since 1945.
right? 1945, and that's crazy. I,
Well,
I really believe it wasn't a tactical decision. It was a flex. I really believe that.
also, do you remember what the name of that ship was?
The Iranian ship?
Yeah,
No, I don't. I don't know what it is.
they named it after General Soleimani, who
Oh, they did?
Trump killed in his first term. So basically, we got him twice.
Oh, that's awesome. I did not even know that. I don't know why I didn't know that, but well, plenty of reasons. I didn't know that, but oh, that's awesome. But yeah, that's an awesome flex. And my kind of my final point on this, because we could get into the eaches, we don't have time tonight. But the fact, if you look at the advancement of technology from Desert Storm to the IEF, OEF to now, it's our technology is light years. So if I'm kind of surprised because we had to suffer through Obama and Biden, but the good thing there's generals, good thing there's DARPA, good thing there's this black project money that we never know where it goes. But our technology, and it'll come out in the months and years to come. The B2s alone, or I think the B2 has now become the most powerful war machine in the world
Yeah.
because it can go anywhere and do anything and it can't be detected. And they even sent these damn things in the daylight, like you said. Um, and this wasn't this makes like Desert Storm look like kind of like
Like
not that that
nothing.
wasn't a huge victory and great stuff, but that was tanks and Bradleys and infantrymen after the initial bombard or the what do they call it? Shock and fury. Was that what?
Shock and awe. Shock
Shock
and
and
awe.
awe. Thank you. This shock and awe is nothing compared to this. Nothing. Nothing. And
Yeah.
we're going to find out. I can't wait to read the books and the AARs in the future about this being a military historian like I claim to be. So it's
Well,
it's
look,
pretty amazing.
the Iranians can lash out with some ballistic missiles, but they're kind of slipshod because when they bring out a launcher, it gets detected pretty fast.
Right.
So they can't be too precise with it. And for those who don't know, the thing with look, it's sad when it hits anywhere and hurts anybody. That's obviously horrible.
Right.
If a drone does that, it's the same thing of horrible. But the thing with ballistic missiles in particular, they're not precision weapons. You can get it to within 5 to 10 miles of what you're aiming at, which is why, it doesn't matter if you put a nuke on top of it, because a nuke gets it within 5 miles of where you're aiming it at. Well, it's going to destroy the city anyway. But if you got a conventional payload,
Right.
that's not going to happen. They're just terror weapons that are lashing out at civilians.
Right.
I don't know if you saw the Iranians have liked to claim that they were big and bad forever, but two quick points I want to bring up on this. First, did you see the Iranian propaganda they put out where they claimed they sunk a U.S. battleship?
I, you sent that video to us, and I
Yeah.
watched that, and I'm like, that is the cheat. That's a video game. That came out of a video game, didn't it?
Yeah,
It
well,
had to.
all I know is it showed a Russian Soyuz missile hitting the battleship Yamato from World War II.
Right.
So that was,
I joked that
mm,
was our Star Blazers.
yeah. And then the second thing, when the Iranians have managed to get jets in the air, which is very few, the Qataris shot them down.
I heard that. I heard
The
that.
first, I mean, the Israelis got the first air-to-air kill in recent memory, but then they sent stuff after the Qataris. The Qataris, who have no combat experience,
Right.
managed to shoot down the Iranian jets. The Iranians are not going to go up against F-35s and F-22s.
No.
Um,
My God,
just,
no.
just not going to happen. Wait till
I
the
don't even know.
F-47 comes
I
out.
don't even know what Iranians have in their
They've
payload for
got some
airplane or
Mirages. They got a bunch, like some French jets. They've got a few. I think they've got some old MiGs. I don't know if they have any Chinese jets. Most of their Chinese military hardware is radars,
right.
and that kind of thing.
I'll have to look that up because I don't know. I don't know what their capabilities air to air or Air Force. They don't
It's
have an Air Force
You gotta
now.
remember, during the Iran-Iraq War, Iraq had pretty much free reign over the skies of Iran,
Right.
so they don't have much. It's This is a very one-sided pounding. It'll be interesting to see if anything comes out of us arming this Kurdish group in Iraq and sending them into Iran. The big thing is you have to destroy the IRGC. You have to. For all the talk about the Iranian people need to rise up, the reason those make such good stories is because they're so rare throughout history. It's hard to take on an armored personnel carrier when you have a rock. It makes for a romantic vision, but it's just not realistic. The way that the Iranians probably are going to have to do this is local levels, like taking over police stations in smaller towns and villages first, see if they can create a massive momentum, and then see if they get the IRGC to just melt into the
Hmm.
background.
Hmm.
But if the IRGC is kind of like the Praetorian Guard was in Rome, they make and break the leaders, and they control the populace. So if they can't break the IRGC, that's what could keep the regime in power.
Right.
But they need the pounding needs. It probably will probably continue if I had to guess for another 3 weeks.
Ouch. I'm sorry.
The I think the campaign will go on for another 2 to 3 weeks probably.
Hmm.
But for all the folks bemoaning, he didn't go to Congress. The War Powers Act says the president has 60 or 90 days. I don't remember which, but 60 or 90 days to get approval from Congress. This ain't gonna last 60 or 90 days. It's just not. And a side note, for all those who are braying about that, I noticed you didn't have jack shit to say about Libya when Obama did it, or Kosovo when Clinton did it. People could say, well, you're doing a what if. No, it matters. Consistency matters. Okay,
Hmm.
look, I supported those things, but you can't suddenly say that you don't support this without congressional authorization if we're all happy about them taking out Gaddafi back in 2011. That's just not the way this works. So I'll be interested to see what else comes of it. I'm glad that we've killed I'm glad we killed Khamenei. You know that I and you've seen me say this. I reserve celebration of death for the truly evil. My opinion,
Absolutely.
Khamenei was one of those evils. Um,
Absolutely.
so were his commanders, his defense ministers, his other clerics. Now, one of the good things about taking them out and continuing to take out folks is it's kind of like late in the football season in a way, where the star player gets hurt, so they have to put in the second string, and he ain't quite as good. Then if he gets hurt, you got to put in the third string, and he ain't quite as good. And it just keeps going down the line like that. I think that's kind of what's going on with Iran. I don't know if you saw the Chinese said they had a red line. I saw the headlines, so I had to click on it and see what they're talking about. They don't have a red line. They're saying, make sure you don't bomb civilians. dude, we're not bombing civilians. Okay, there was a tragedy at an Iranian school where I think 164 uh, school-age girls died, and it turns out that it was an Iranian ballistic missile that had an errant misfire and blew up there. We didn't even bomb it. It wasn't even an accident on our part. If it had been, it would have been tragic, obviously, and it's still tragic what happened. But it was the Iranians that accidentally blew up their own school. One of the things I would still would not be surprised if they did. I'm a little bit weary of is you got to remember they mowed down a few 10,000 protesters during the protests a month and a half ago, two
Right.
months ago. They have those bodies. I'm kind of surprised they haven't been pulling them out and putting them in the streets and saying, look what the U.S. and Israel have done to us. I would not put that past them. So anyway, I do support this action. I do think we need to finish off the regime. We definitely need to destroy the IRGC, and we may have to fly low-level patrols and cover over Iran for a while until they get in. Ideally, I'd like to see the Shah come back, but I don't know that he has the infrastructure or force to be able to make that happen without some kind of a massive event.
Two quick things too, and then I'll let you go, Russ. And I'm kind of starting to get ready to pass out here. Um, Quite literally.
Yeah.
I'm not used to being upright this long. Um, the oh, what was I going to say? Oh, I would encourage anybody. I can't remember. You didn't go to Afghanistan, did you?
No, I went to Iraq 3 times.
You're Iraq, yeah. And that wasn't a stump the chump. I'm just curious. Go back and look at how go look at like 1970s Afghanistan and 1970s Iran on video, and just Google it on YouTube and watch the videos about how those societies function. The women looking sharp in business suits and dresses and stuff, and the men cars going everywhere in a functional society. Go look at how those societies were. They were, for lack of a better word, sorry, they were very Western.
They were modernizing. Yeah.
Modernizing, yeah. And they would have been safe places to live and decent places to live. Their economies were on the rise and all that. And then came the mullahs and Sharia law and all this other stuff that absolutely ruined those countries.
Yep.
It's kind of like what you see in this country, not nearly as drastic, but when you compare like blue states to red states or blue cities to red cities, the
Compare San Francisco to, say, Pensacola.
right. Look at San Francisco in the 70s and 80s, or even in the 90s
Yeah.
when I went there several times, and it was a really beautiful, fun city. And how quickly that can go downhill when you change the philosophy or anything like that.
Yep.
It is drastic. I encourage anybody to go out there. Matter of fact, I'll post some videos when I feel a little bit better on Two Grumpy Bastards that I've looked at a couple times. I was actually shocked. I looked at it a few years ago about Iran in the pre Ayatollah
Yeah.
oh my
See
God,
that.
Iran was a really beautiful place. And then Afghanistan, I can't remember what the leadership in Afghanistan was. Then I don't know a whole lot about the politics in Afghanistan. Um, I know how much it changed, but it's just, I just want to say, for those of you retards out there that don't realize that this is a really good thing to do for the world and it's okay to liberate the people of a different country. It's okay. And I know the libtards, and I'm libertarian tards, that are so about this isolationism and we shouldn't be there and stuff like that. You're a punk. You're a
America
fucking
first.
son of a bitch.
America first does not mean America alone or America only.
Right.
It means we look out for our national interests. Sometimes our national interests mean getting involved somewhere.
Well, America first also means building up our military to the point where you are Mike Tyson and they're putting in, Skinny McGee up against you. It's okay to be Mike Tyson. It doesn't mean you have to throw those punches. But when you do, oh God,
Yep.
that left hook is going to come out from somewhere and it's going to knock your ass out. And that's what America First is all about. It's making sure that when you have to, first of all, it's deterrence as a big part of that. That was Reagan's philosophy. Let's build up our military so nobody wants to pick a fight with us. We're the biggest, baddest boy in the schoolyard. Secondly, if you do have to fight, then you can go with overwhelming force and get it over with. And folks, overwhelming force actually spares lives, a lot of lives in the long run. Truman had to make that decision with dropping the bomb, right? Because he knew it was going to cost millions and millions and millions more lives not to.
can I just bring up this point, and then I'll make my last two. But the
Sure.
point with the bomb that you brought up, it's interesting. Some people bemoan that they don't understand how bad it would have been without the bomb. And I don't just mean the invasion from us, but there were two other things that were going to go on with Japan that people don't really seem to know about. The first was a full-on constrictive naval blockade that would have starved the country. 80 million starving Japanese. I don't think that's really compassionate. The second thing was they don't understand how much Okinawa changed the game. Okinawa is only 300 miles from Japan. Curtis
Right.
LeMay wanted to stock that place with all the bombers we had, and instead of flying 3 missions a week out of the Marianas, he wanted to fly two a day out of Okinawa. And his only concern was that Dow Chemical, would they be able to make enough napalm? We would have burned Japan to the ground without the atom bomb, and
Yep.
that did save lives. Now, two last quick points. First, on the way that Iran used to be. You know who some of the chief supporters of the change in the regime before they realized how they fucked up was the liberal Iranian women. They were cheering change in the regime and downfall of the Shah, not realizing that they were going to be on the real shit end of that stick.
Right.
So let's, liberal women in the United States, think about that. The second thing is just to go back to a point I made earlier. I think the world has sat up and taken notice of a newly assertive America and just how powerful we can be when we decide to use it. And I think it's going to prevent conflict because, like I said, Russia and China are suddenly like, oh shit. I don't think China's going into Taiwan, at least not while Trump is president. And I think Russia's ambitions will be curtailed considerably.
Hmm.
They've seen what we've done in Venezuela. They've seen what we've done in Iran. Cuba's been cut off. Cuba, half the island went, blackout yesterday, I think, because their oil supplies have been cut off. You saw that the Mexican army actually engaged with the drug cartel because Trump said, "Hey, we may have to get our special forces involved if you don't." So, we are making an impact in the world in ways we haven't probably since the 80s, or maybe since the Gulf War might have been the last time people truly understood what that was like. Now, yeah, we went into Iraq and everything, but we kind of went in, penny ante, and we still kicked their ass. But it wasn't the overwhelming force that we've used since the Gulf War. And the willingness to use it should make future conflicts less likely because people are like, hey, I don't want to screw with the United States because, they might reach up and smack me. I think it can lead to other friendlier governments around the world, especially in Central and South America. So it's going to be interesting to watch. Uh, we'll see what the next, I'm going to say 3 weeks will bring in terms of this. I don't think Trump's going to put any American, there may be some covert ops that go in there and try and foment some stuff, but there's not going to be, 150,000 American soldiers on the ground in Iran. I just don't think that Trump's into that. And last point, I posted on my Facebook page earlier. Trump has been talking about Iran for 46 years. There's a video of him from 1980 talking about how we needed to take out Iran because they took our hostages and how we weren't respected because we weren't doing anything.
Hmm.
It's the young Trump. So this is not anything new. People saying that he didn't ever want to do this. This is not anything new. He's been talking about this since I was 7 years old.
One last thing, last word. I can't remember. You haven't seen Office Space, is that right?
I have seen Office Space.
Okay. I can't remember which one you hadn't seen that. I was like surprised because it's right up your alley. But anyway, do you remember the scene where the John Ritter lookalike guy, when he's afraid and he starts talking about going to prison, and he goes, "I don't mean white collar prison. I mean pound your ass prison.
A federal pound me in the ass prison.
Pound me in
Yeah.
the ass prison." So white collar prison was our prior policy. Trump is pound you in the ass.
Yeah. Trump is the federal pound me in the ass prison. Yeah.
That's right. All right, guys. Hey, thanks, Russ. We're gonna get off. I need to go lay down for a bit. And
You'll get
thanks
better,
for
dude.
thanks for listening. Yeah, I will try to heal. I got to go see the doc again here. So
Please
see how
do.
that goes. I probably need some more meds or something. I don't even know. But anyway, we're gonna sign out. Thank you for listening, folks. We are glad to have you back. Glad to be
Hopefully this
back.
comes back up soon. Hopefully this goes on soon.
Yeah, I will do. I'm gonna take a break and try to. It doesn't take me much to post these. I got templates and stuff, so hopefully Buzzsprout's working and everything changes. AI screws me up. It's just bull. Anyway, from the Two Grumpy Bastards. That's Russ over there in the wilds of Tennessee. This is Coop with I was going to say something clever, but I don't have anything clever to say right now. From the wilds of the Pacific Northwest, saying, remember to keep your focus and
Stay wokeless.
Well, hey everybody, this is Coop, the handsome and debonair one of the Two Grumpy Bastards podcast. Not to mention I'm the only one that's an actual bastard. Google that shit. Don't, actually. Hey, I'm here to do a shameless plug for our merchandise. You can find us at twogrumpybastardsmerchandise.com. We got a whole bunch of new merchandise in. I think you'll like some of the new choices. There's some pro-Second Amendment. There's some anti-Washington State Governor stuff on there. I think you'll really appreciate it. New stuff coming all the time. I have 2 great designs in the works, so please, to support this podcast, that's one of the easiest ways to do it. We're also on Etsy. Yeah, I know, Etsy. You can find our products on eBay as well. Storm King Mercantile is the name of the store there that fronts us. And there's many, many other ways to support this podcast, of course. We have a Patreon page, same thing, Two Grumpy Bastards. We certainly would appreciate you following us on Instagram. Most of you probably know we have a Facebook page, Two Grumpy Bastards Podcast. We have a lot of fun over there, a lot of frivolity, a lot of memes, and a lot of hard-hitting news. Believe it or not, a lot of great people in that group. Also, all of the social media outlets, including now on TikTok. You can find us there. And one of the things that I really wanted to tell you is if you have any feedback for Russ, especially because he kind of sucks, feel free to email us at twogrumpybastards@gmail.com. That's the easiest way to get a hold of us, or you can always leave us a comment or an IM on, or DM, I should say. See, I'm so savvy. I'm so savvy. On our Facebook page. So we really appreciate you listening or watching us over there on YouTube as well. And we hope you do both, because Russ is something to look at. I said something. I didn't say something really great to look at. Anyway, thanks for listening. This is your intrepid, amazing, and grateful host of the Two Grumpy Bastards podcast, Coop. Remember, keep your focus and stay wokeless.